Bonjour, comment allez-vous? This is the Crypto Kid podcast, and today we discuss, can Bitcoin escape the bear market chokehold? All right, this is Friday. I'm glad to be here. Bitcoin currently is trading at 62,327 US dollars. It's up 1,600 US dollars today. Is trying to recover some of its gains, and that's why we're here to discuss Bitcoin and the bear market. So let's do a recap over the last 2 weeks. If we look at it, if we go back 2 weeks ago, a little more than 2 weeks ago, the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell lowered the prime interest rate by a half of 1 point, which was the equivalent of 50 BTS. The market immediately responded. At that time, Bitcoin was trading slightly below 59,000 US dollars, and then it soared ahead to beyond 63,000 US dollars, and then it settled down at 62,918 US dollars. In addition to that, Ethereum reached a high of 2,627 US dollars. And Ethereum has not moved that much in the last few months, whereas Bitcoin's price fluctuation has been extensive, seeing a low of around 55,000 US dollars and a high of 70,000 US dollars in the month of May, either May or June. And right now, you're going to have to excuse me. This happens when you're recording your live webinar podcast at home. I got a dog that wants to come in, so I need to leave. I'll be right back. This is a commercial break. Come on, Knick-Knack. Yes, good boy. Come on. And now we're back from our commercial break. Thank you for standing by while I let the doggy inside. Okay, so getting back to Bitcoin. So a little more than 2 weeks ago, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell lowered the prime interest rate, the equivalent of 50 BPS, and that is simply half of 1 interest point. Bitcoin was trading slightly below 59,000 US dollars and soared to a high of 63,000 US dollars and then settled out for the day at 62,918 US dollars. Ethereum has not been fluctuating that much, whereas over the last 3 to 4 months, Bitcoin has saw a low close to between 53,000, 55,000 US dollars and has seen a high of a little more than 70,000 US dollars. It has been holding on below, however, 65,000 US dollars for at least 2 months. Then, not to be outdone, the Chinese government the following week lowered their prime interest rate, and Bitcoin soared immediately above 64,000 US dollars. Then this past Friday, 7 days ago, it soared above 66,000 US dollars to the high of 66,464 US dollars. And then at that time, which is very common, is that investors took their profits and Bitcoin closed the day around 65,627 US dollars. What was interesting, and I cautioned people, I said that over the weekend, you're going to have overnight trading, mainly overseas, and you will see additional investors take their profits, so the price will dip. It dipped to the price of 63,369 US dollars opening on Monday. It then further tumbled again on Tuesday because of the headlines concerning the Israel-Iranian tensions in the Middle East. And what I told investors is that, look, this is just investors who, large speculators who are applying the same strategy that you see in financial markets. And if you're not familiar, generally, when war breaks out, the prices of goods and commodities go up because some region where these products are being manufactured are impacted. It might be dangerous now to go into those waters, into those seas surrounding that country. And heaven forbid that this country is a majoring manufacturing nation. That means that cargo ships need to get in and then they need to get out without being attacked. And that is where you're going to see hyperinflation of certain shipped goods. But most American goods are being produced in China, Singapore, Malaysia. Let's think of some other countries, smaller countries, and so in Thailand. And these countries are currently not in turmoil as far as war is concerned. Most of the tensions are surrounding Israel and Iran, and neither country is a large manufacturing country that's shipping goods to the United States. Israel produces very few goods. And so that the American markets should not be impacted by this. However, you do have to keep in mind that the first week of Q4, the most likely Teamsters Union coordinated with the port dock workers in the Gulf Coast from Texas all the way to Florida and then on the East Coast. And they coordinated a strike this week, the first solid week of Q4 during Christmas season. So this couldn't have happened at a worse time, but they're right. That's when the market is most vulnerable. And so a lot of goods that are to go on the shelf for Christmas are going to be sitting at the docks. And there are strike breakers. Our hope is that this situation can resolve itself quickly. This is the wrong time for anybody to be going on a strike as we go into Q4, which is the largest revenue season for most U.S. businesses. More than 50% of all U.S. businesses make more than 50% of their profits and revenues in the fourth quarter. That is how important the fourth quarter in the Christmas season is to the U.S. economy. With that being said, can Bitcoin break out of the bear market chokehold? Is it possible that it could actually do this? And my answer is yes. And let me give you a few reasons for that. One, we are going into the Q4 season, the Christmas shopping, purchasing season, which is always positive. And as I said, more than 50% of all U.S. businesses make more than 50% of their revenue and profits in Q4. So that's one point. Second point, since July, mid-July, in the Bitcoin crypto conference in Nashville, market sentiment towards Bitcoin has been very positive. And in addition to that, we see that Bitcoin ETFs are being approved in a more expedient manner by the SEC. So BlackRock's ETF has been approved. MicroStrategy's ETF has been approved. Grayscale already has one ETF approved, but it wants to release another, and so is pushing the SEC to make that happen at a faster pace than it normally does. That could be good, it could be bad. Third reason is that Donald Trump is leading in the polls more by 30 points. So if you listen to fake news media, they'll say that it's neck and neck, and that is an actual lie. Donald Trump in the popular vote is ahead by 30 points. But let's say you're a skeptic and you don't even want to accept that. Well, polls that are being done of the Electoral College, which is not just some pollsters calling up somebody and saying, what are you going to do? This is the actual Electoral College, which they are the people that in all actuality, they determine who the president is by casting their votes. And this is why this is controversial, because sometimes the electoral college votes can differ from the popular vote. And we saw that happen with this 2016 election. Donald Trump, because of the particular states that he won, received more electoral college votes, though Hillary Clinton received more popular votes. And then in the final tabulation, there was supposed to be like a 200,000 difference, which I consider that to be a margin of error. So initially we thought, okay, Hillary Clinton had more popular votes, but after you account for margin of error, it's very well likely that Donald Trump also received more popular votes than Hillary Clinton. And because of that, Donald Trump has already been successful with Bitcoin, meme coins. Now he and his two sons have a company called World Liberty Financial, and they intend to release a Bitcoin ETF. You see Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, they've recently had an ETF approved. In addition to that, BlackRock had the FEC recently approve an ETF. You have Robert F. Kennedy Jr., he spoke at the Bitcoin National Conference in Nashville. And then JD Vance holds Bitcoin. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, has been supporting Bitcoin for more than 5 years. And now the powerful YouTube influencer Callie Muscle has an Ethereum coin, and I am going to be doing some interviews and podcasts with Callie Muscle so he can explain his Ethereum coin to the general public. And so you have all these, you have BlackRock and MicroStrategy, they're behind Bitcoin. You have all these billionaires behind Bitcoin. You have all these influencers behind Bitcoin. Bitcoin is positioned to break out of the bear market chokehold. And in addition to that, I predict that within the next 2 weeks, Bitcoin is going to pass or at least reach 70,000 US dollars. And this is prior to the election. With a Bitcoin, with a victory by Donald Trump, which is evident and imminent, I believe Bitcoin will surpass 85,000 US dollars. In addition to that, I believe that from January 20th, 2025 to July 20th, 2025, you'll see a bull run in Ethereum. Ethereum should pass 5,000 US dollars, and Bitcoin should exceed way beyond 100,000 US dollars. Now, $150,000 in US dollars price per coin is something that is very realistic, and it's not a futuristic dream. It's a reality, because when you have a president and other financial leaders that are standing behind it, then you have big giant financial companies that are behind some financial product, instrument, or entity. It is going to gain traction, and market sentiment is going to be more positive, and that's what we're talking about right now. So my belief is that Bitcoin can clearly break out of the bear market chokehold and strike a big punch straight to the face and drop the bear market, okay, and go all the way. And I can see Bitcoin riding on a bull. So I'm going to look for it. I'm going to have an image of a Bitcoin on top of a bull. You saw it. You heard it first from Daniel Plummer. The future is crypto. We'll see you tomorrow.